plans. What do I eat? How often do I eat? Who do I listen to when it comes to this? That's just a few of the things we're going to talk about today. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dan. I appreciate you stopping by and checking out this content. Today I want to talk to you about meals. How much do I eat? What do I eat? Where do I go for information to find out what to eat? As throughout my weight loss journey, that has been one of the hardest things I've had to do. The exercise has not been that big of a problem. Finding the support out there has not that been a big of a problem. But finding out and figuring out what I need to eat, that's been the hardest thing for me. And I'm sure for some of you, it's probably been the hardest thing too. So today we're going to go into just a few of the meal plans that I've discovered and have tried, and I'll discuss with you what has worked with me, and hopefully we can find something that maybe works for you too. So with all that being said, let's get started. So the first one I want to talk to you about is the calorie deficit diet. Now this seems to be the gold standard when it comes to weight loss, is reducing your calories and increasing your physical activity, therefore you're going to lose weight. And yes, that does work. Most doctors out there, what you talk to, will recommend this diet to you. But for me, I feel like this is the hardest one out there. It's the hardest one, I feel, because it's the most restrictive. I don't feel like I get enough to eat whenever I do the calorie reduced diet. I always feel hungry. Whenever I feel hungry, it makes me want to go find a snack to help press that hunger down so I can get to my next meal. I never felt like I could sustain that type of diet. And after all, sustainability in a diet is what makes it successful. You've got to be able to stick with it and continue to do the journey in order for it to work. It's not going to happen overnight. And for me, just the low calorie diet was just not going to work. So I had to go and figure out another thing that I could do that would work for me and help me to lose the weight. Now the next diet I want to talk to you about is called the intermittent fasting diet. What this one simply is you have 2 periods of time. One is a fasting period where you don't eat anything and don't drink anything other than some water. And then the other period of time is where you consume all your daily calories for the day and you get your fluid intake in and so on. For me, this was very, very hard because during the fasting period, I felt like I was always starving. I felt like I never could get anything. I was always thirsty because I wasn't drinking enough water because, as I told you, I don't like water. And then on top of that, I felt really sluggish and just blah throughout the day. So I really didn't care for that. And then now when it came time to actually eat, time to get my calories in for the day, I felt like I'd always overindulge myself and gorge on the food that I was eating. That made it hard because then it defeated the purpose of being on the diet in the first place, was to help control your calories and lose weight. Because I'd always eat more than I needed to do because I felt so hungry. And then on top of that, it just demoralized me because I was like, well, great, I just failed. Like I'm never going to get this. And so it's just a never-ending repeating process, and I just didn't like it. It did not work for me. Now, I know people out there who've done this diet and have been very, very successful on it, and that's great. It just didn't work for me. It may work for you, so it may be something you want to try and look into. It could have been I was doing it completely wrong, and that's why it failed. I don't know. I just know it didn't work. So the thing is whenever you do these diets, or lifestyle changes, I hate using the word diet. Whenever you do these lifestyle changes, you got to play with it, and you got to do some research on it, and you got to really invest your time into it to really learn about the plan to make sure you're doing it correctly. That's something I didn't do, I had to say. I really didn't take the time. I kind of just got on the internet and Googled weight loss diets and picked one and just tried it, and didn't really do it the way it should have been done. So a lot of times the reason why it failed was because of me and me not doing my research and learning about the diet and learning what you're supposed to do in the diet and so on and so forth. So make sure when you're doing these diets or these lifestyle changes is that you do your research. Really look into it before you start anything, before you take any moves. research the meal plan and the lifestyle change, and really learn about it and get a good grasp of what you're doing, and how it's supposed to affect your body and so on and so forth before you take that first step. So learn from me, and don't do what I did when it comes to those. Just do your research, and talk to your doctor and talk to people who've done the diet and know what they're doing, and then go from there. The next lifestyle change I want to talk to you about is something called a low carb diet. The low carb diet, for me, is the one I personally use currently at the moment. I feel that it works best for me. I've seen a lot of success in it. It seems to have a really high success rate amongst all the people I know who've done it, and the internet, what limited research I've done on this diet or lifestyle change have had. So this is what I currently use. And basically what it is you're limiting your amount of carbohydrates you take in throughout the day. Now, how do you know how many carbohydrates you're taking in a day? You read your labels. What I do when I get my food is I look at the label, and I look at total carbohydrates for the meal. I take that. I look at how many sugars are in that meal, and I add that to the carbs. So I basically treat sugar like a carb. And then as I take all that, add it together, and then what I do is I look at the fiber that's in the meal, and I subtract that from the carbs. And whatever I have left over, that's how many carbs are affecting my body throughout the day. So if a meal, let's say for example, a meal has 20 carbs, okay, combined sugars and regular carbs. And then you have 15 fibers. Well, 20 minus 15 is 5. So 5 carbohydrates is what I'm taking in that affect my body. So I don't consume more than 20 carbohydrates a day. I've heard other people say they don't consume more than 10. I've heard people say they consume as much as 50 carbs a day. You really have to play with this diet or this lifestyle change to figure out what works for you. Everybody's body is different. Everybody's body reacts differently. So as you do this, play with it and work and see where it goes. If you find out at 21 carbs for the day, you stop losing weight and you're either sustaining or gaining, okay, well then 20 is your cutoff. So really just play with it. Figure out what works best for you, and go with it. Now, for me, the low carb diet was better because it didn't feel as restrictive. I didn't feel like I was hungry all the time. I felt like I was getting enough food to eat because I was eating foods that were more, how do I put this, more fulfilling. So like meats and fats and stuff like that. Because on the low carb diet, you want to make sure you get in your fats. I've heard lots of things saying, how fats are evil when you're not supposed to be eating fats. Well, that's true to an extent. You have good fats and your bad fats. You want to make sure you're getting your good fats in. Lots of nuts have good fats in. Certain oils have good fats in them. Make sure you're getting your good fats in, because that's what's going to help you maintain your lifestyle change, and it's going to help you feel full. So the low carb diet, it seems like it's the most successful in my opinion, based on what I've seen. It's not as hard. Like I said, I feel like I get more to eat. I don't feel hungry all the time. I don't feel lethargic. Now, the thing is with the low carb diet is there is something called the low carb flu that you get when you first start, because your body's readjusting to it. You feel kind of just like you have the flu. So it's kind of tough when they first start. After about the first week, if you're doing it on the lifestyle change, it actually gets better. You actually lose a lot of your cravings. I was always craving sugars, soda. I'm a real big soda person, and honestly, believe it or not, I love milk. I was craving a lot of that stuff, and then after the first week, it seemed like those cravings went away. So it takes a little bit of time to get going on the low carb diet. You're not going to see results immediately, but once you get going, it seems to happen pretty rapidly. I noticed within the first 2 weeks while I was on the diet, I lost roughly, I don't think it was like 13 pounds or something like that within the first 2 weeks, and I averaged anywhere between 5 and 6 pounds a week when I was doing the low carb. But I was doing kind of a dirty low carb, if you will. I wasn't really doing exactly the way you're supposed to do it, again, because of my pickiness and my selective eating. And on top of that, I've probably eaten a little bit more than I should. So I didn't lose as much as some people. I've heard people losing a lot more, and I've heard people losing a lot less. So it's going to really depend on you. So what you got to really do is just play with it and figure it out how it works best for you. And then once you figure that out, go with that. Now, there's plenty of other diets and lifestyle changes that you can do out there. You can get on the internet and Google it, and you'll find any plethora number of different plans and things to go. Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, Paleo, Mediterranean, you name it, it's out there. Just get on there and do your research, as I said. Look into these different lifestyle changes and figure out what works best for you. Just really deep into it and find out what fits your lifestyle the best. And once you find that, go with it. Then if it doesn't work, then try something different. Another thing I didn't really talk about in the beginning is there's a lot of things out there that help you with this process. I am currently taking one of the weight loss shots. I'm taking Ozempic. I actually just started on that. That will help, with the weight loss. Doesn't mean you have to do it. Not everybody agrees with that. That's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I feel like it probably will help me, so I'm trying it. So look into stuff like that. Talk to your doctor about things like that. Talk to your friends and family who have tried stuff like that and ask their opinion on how, if it's worked for them or if it's not for them, and find out why either way. And then just make your decision and go with it. The big thing is to keep plugging away. My problem was every time I do try something and it failed, I felt like a failure. And I felt like I was never going to lose this weight, that I'm just going to be fat for the rest of my life. I'm just going to have to live with it. That's not true. I will find something that will work for me, and I will be successful, and I will win. So you will too. You just have to just keep trucking away, keep being persistent, and keep going at it, and eventually we'll figure it out, and you will lose the weight. So guys, I hope I talked about something today that helped you out. I hope we all learned something. By all means, if you have any ideas or any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Let me know what your plans are, what your thoughts are on some of these things I've mentioned. If you have a different idea, a way to approach something, please, by all means, let me know. I'm always willing to learn. We can all learn from each other because we're all in this life together, and no one's alone in this. And that's one thing I always felt like in my whole life throughout when I was doing this. I felt like I was alone. Like all my friends, I got a lot of friends that are all in great shape, really athletic and something like that, and I'm not. And here I am, just a fat truck driver who likes to sit on his couch and play video games and watch TV. That is all changing. So don't feel like you're alone in this. You're not alone. We're all here together. Please just keep at it and keep going. Also, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe on the video. Any little interaction you give me helps. Even if you don't like the video and give it a thumbs down, that's fine too. Let me know. And if you didn't like the video, please let me know, and let me know why you didn't like it. So maybe I can correct things and change things in the future. But anyway, I hope you all do good. I wish you all great success. And next week, we're going to get into something even better. So stay tuned.